Welcome to the Heart of Money podcast, where we discuss the personal and emotional elements of money and the impact that money has on every area of your life. I'm Austin Black, a personal finance coach that helps couples overcome their fear and frustration of financial management so they can take complete control of their money. What started as a desire to learn the fundamentals of money management has turned into a passion for helping couples work together to achieve financial success and strengthen their relationship with each other. Whether you're looking for the best strategies to manage your money as a couple, or you're tired of struggling to gain traction and want to overcome the fear and frustration associated with finances, I'm here to help, and this show is for you. Ready to learn more? Then let's talk about the heart of money.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Heart of Money, episode 103. I am your effervescent co-host, Bob Wessler, joined by your blank host, Austin Black. I was supposed to fill in the blanks on that one, right? Smart, inquisitive.
We don't even need a bleeper for this episode.
That's right. Blankety blank host, Austin Black. I'm sorry. I was just trying to be charming and witty with that one because he told me, in fact, and I quote, fill in the blanks. So I just did blank. But here he is. I've got him on the right foot, even though he's sitting down, ready to answer questions. And he actually tried to do this a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't do it. And he said, forget it. We're not doing this. We'll try it again some other time.
And you still passed with not flying colors.
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, man. I never know what to expect out of you. Most times I'm halfway impressed.
You're welcome. But I'll let our audience fill in the blanks if they want, or, now that we get to put you on the hot seat.
Yes.
You might be able to fill in the blanks.
My seat is on fire. My butt's burning. Let's get to the show on the road.
So, Austin had 4 questions for me last time. I had to whittle mine down. I'm under 10 for Austin. So
he's at 9.5.
Yeah, 9 3/4. Let's see. Where do I want to start with these questions? Okay. We'll start here because I think this goes back to just about where we started 100 episodes ago.
Okay.
Your turning point.
103, actually.
103, yes. Thank you. 104 if we consider the meeting at Applebee's where, it was...
True. Yes.
Yeah.
And you never did buy...
I bought my own, didn't I? I don't recall. That's been a long time ago. That was pre-COVID, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh. So anyway, your turning point in that wonderful grocery aisle, circa 1972. No, I'm kidding. Was that an aha moment, or was it something that built up over time?
When you say built up over time, what do you mean?
I thought I was the one supposed to be asking the questions here.
You're clarifying.
Okay.
Yes.
When I say it was built up over time, it was kind of a nagging feeling you knew something wasn't right or you needed to make a change.
Okay.
Was it when you sat in that aisle and all of a sudden the fish sticks were just too much for you to pay for, or oh my gosh, I can't have the fish sticks and the tartar sauce?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would say it's a little bit of both, because that night was an aha moment. I'd had this sense that something wasn't right just because things felt tighter. My checking account balance wasn't growing as quickly as it should, given the paychecks that I was putting in there. So I had this question, I guess you might say, of what do I not know? What am I missing here? Where's this not working because something didn't feel right? So that night when I realized what the problem was. That was definitely an aha of, oh my goodness, this is obviously the problem. There's no question about it. My expenses are exceeding my income. The numbers don't lie. I know that I have to change something, whether that's take more control, whether that's spend less money, whatever the reason actually is, something's got to change. It's got to change now. So that was definitely an aha. But as far as the feeling at the grocery store, that was like the aftermath of the aha. You know, I I realized that financially speaking, I was not safe. But it wasn't until I sat in the store and was having to make decisions around spending more money that the realization became more than a fear and more of a reality. It wasn't so much of, okay, I'm scared about what this can mean. This is now what I have to decide. This is where the rubber meets the road, and my decision right now directly impacts the situation. So I would say that would be more of that secondary of, I knew things weren't right as I went to the store, and then at the store I'm like, okay, this is how it feels now. This is what I'm experiencing. But I already knew what the problem was at that point, obviously. So I think it's a little bit of a combination of the aha and the build over time to get me to where I've got to face the reality now of knowing what the problem is and then dealing with the problem.
And your first wife, was she in the picture at this point, or was Laura yet to come along?
Let me think here to the timing of that.
I know I threw you off by saying your first wife.
You did throw me. I'm like, I've only had one, and I'm only going to have one.
That's right.
So the wife. That would have been, if anything, it would have been the very, very beginning of our relationship. I don't recall if we were actually dating yet or not, but it would have been at the very beginning months, either immediately before or as soon as we were dating. But yeah, she wasn't like a fixture in my relationship at that time necessarily, if that makes sense.
Okay, that wasn't one of my questions. It just kind of rang in there to see time frame where she fit into the picture there.
Yep.
So, a few episodes ago now, you did your debt-free scream. Went to Nashville and sounded horrible making that noise, but it was fun. You enjoyed it. I'll get there one day. But my question is, what has paying off your house allowed you to do?
Prepare for the economy that we were faced with immediately following. Within months of paying that house off, inflation skyrocketed, and literally our mortgage payment went to pay for increased cost in groceries and gas. I can look back in the budgets and almost, we'll see, we paid the house off in September of 21, I believe. And I think 22 is whenever things really started taking place there. That was the immediate of where it went. Beyond that, paying our house off has allowed us to navigate the economic uncertainties and the challenges in household living. It has also allowed us to aggressively save for vehicle upgrades. It's allowed us to put some money back for land purchases in the future. It's allowed us to feel more progressive in our financial goals. Although we have necessarily hit those in the same timeline that we had originally planned whenever we first started, we are hitting them sooner than we would have had we still been paying the mortgage. So paying the mortgage off allowed us to expedite that savings goal. Now the economy, and I don't say this to say that the economy has been the reason why we haven't done better, but the cost of living and income not increasing at the same rate as cost of living has delayed our saving strategies. But those savings goals have definitely happened sooner because we paid the house off. So that's probably been the largest long-term thing that we've experienced.
Okay. So you now have 3 kids.
Correct.
3 kids. Ages?
6 as of the 13th of November, so tomorrow from when we're recording this. Just turned 4 and 15 months.
Okay. 6, 4, and 15 months. Correct?
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
final answer? All right. All girls.
All girls.
Austina, and
Austinella.
Austinella. Okay. It's better than Citronella and Baby Boo.
Right?
So, anyway, 3 girls, 6, 4, 15 months. What are you saving for your kids, and how are you doing that?
So we are currently saving for their college education through a 529 account. Beyond that, they are saving for themselves without even knowing it, because all of their gift money goes into a savings account. And at this point, we are the managers of that money, and really don't spend on very much stuff. They got some good savings balances racking up, and at some point down the road, I would say that we might encourage them to continue saving to those for a multitude of things. I mean, it could be a variety of things depending upon what time in life we're talking about the decision. But as far as us saving for them ourselves, it's their college education right now is what we're contributing to.
And speaking of college educations, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm still working on that one, Bob.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
There's not a lot of fun in being grown up. I want to stay, young and athletic, and not athletic, but not have all the responsibilities of being an adult. That's growing up's not as much as it's all cracked up to be.
Yeah. That's for our younger audience members, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. What was the best financial advice you've ever been given?
Oh, man. I mean, a lot of what I believe and hold on to today is what I've learned from Dave Ramsey. Best financial advice I've ever been given. I think if I go back to whenever my my financial journey, really took that spin, whenever I started learning about Dave's program, whenever I started taking control of my money, I think the best advice that I ever really got, and it wasn't so much advice as it was inspiration, and that was that I had the potential and ability to achieve financial success. Growing up, my parents, neither one were ever financially really solid and secure. I mean, we always had everything we needed, but there was never I did not grow up in a household that was wealthy. I did not grow up in a household that could go buy anything we wanted to. We got what we needed, but that caused me to question my ability to do better than what my parents have been able to do. And whenever I kept listening to Dave talk about how taking control of your money, managing, budgeting, investing, being smart and being accountable and responsible would allow you to accomplish a level of success that I'd always dreamed about, but never believed was possible. That gave me the inspiration to embody those practices, knowing that, okay, other people are doing this and having luck. Why can't I? And that kind of set the trajectory for everything that I've done for the last 10 years now, financially speaking. And it's been incredible to see the slow progress, but the fast transformation. Because had I not done the tactics and strategies that I have been doing over the last 10 years, our lives would be so much different. We would probably still be paying on a mortgage. We probably wouldn't even be thinking about paying for vehicles with cash. We probably wouldn't even be thinking about buying land in the next 5 years. Those would just be dreams. They wouldn't be realities. But because I was encouraged to, number one, believe in the opportunity, and then manage my money in response to that, it's allowed for those dreams to become goals. And those goals have turned into realities in some capacities by paying the house off and saving for vehicles, to where now it's not just the idea, it is the intention, and I see it happening, and I have the timeline for when it will take place. I can chart it out. I never would have dreamed that was possible 10 years ago.
Fantastic. So this goes right into the next question. Your best financial move was when? What was it? And when was it?
Generally speaking, it would have been the first day that I committed myself to doing a budget every single month. Hands down. Because everything that I've done since then has been a result of doing a budget every single month. There was a lot of specific decisions that have been made along the way. My wife and I, we have purchased two used vehicles with cash since we've been married. We're preparing to purchase two more in the next probably a year. We've been saving up for that for the past 18 months to 2 years to buy those both in cash. Obviously, the house paid off what was a goal. We're planning to have investments built up to where we're going to be able to buy land here in the near future and build a house. But all of those specific decisions are a direct result of me believing and committing to doing a budget before I ever got married. And then my wife coming alongside me and doing that budget with me every single month for the past 9 years. Because that has allowed us to take control, stay in control no matter what. It may not be easy all the time, but we are in control no matter what. So that key piece has allowed me to make the decisions that have proven beneficial and helped us accomplish our goals. But I'd say hands down, it started with committing to managing my money with a budget and then never stopping.
Good deal. So I've got one more question, and then I've got a bonus question because we have time. Because I answer these so succinctly. What is the worst financial advice you've ever been given?
The worst?
Yes.
Phew. That's almost harder than the best because I typically, if it's bad, I just forget about it. I don't even listen. I just ignore it because I already know it's not good advice.
The most memorable advice you were given that was just not good.
Yeah, so I got to think back on this one. I mean, there's several things that I have been encouraged to do that I have not done because it didn't make sense. I have not purchased a whole life policy insurance. I have not um, haven't had a credit card to my name for the past 8 years. Um, what else what man? I mean, I guess if I think about like true advice, I recall, back in high school, when I was wanting to, or I guess maybe it was more so college, but in that general time frame, I was wanting to get myself set up for future opportunities. And my folks had always utilized debt in some capacity because they just didn't have the resources to avoid debt. So whether that would be for a credit card or for a car payment or a farm payment, debt was always in the mix. And I remember wanting to be able to do things financially once I got on my own. So the idea was talked about. I'm pretty sure I was in college at the time. Taking out a loan to buy an older pickup truck for me to drive, to go on hunts or to drive around the farm for the purpose of building my credit history. That was the sole reason for doing that. And at that time, to me, that was completely normal. There was nothing wrong with that. Who didn't do that, right? Who didn't want to build their credit, and who didn't, think that taking out a loan on a vehicle was one of the easiest and best ways to do that. I have done that. I have had 2 auto loans since my adult life. Never gonna do it ever again. And the reason that I feel like that was bad advice, thankfully, that did not happen. I did not go out and borrow money for that truck at that time. I did end up borrowing money later for a vehicle, but did not borrow a significant amount and was paid off within 2 years. But bottom line of that story, the reason that was bad advice, looking back, was that number one, that would have put me on a trajectory to utilize debt as the tool to get what I wanted versus utilizing money. It would have put me in a spot to believe that a credit score and credit history was fundamental to achieving financial success, which I now know is complete fallacy. And it probably would have limited me from taking control of my money because I would have been accustomed to that lifestyle. And not to say that the way my parents did it was completely wrong, because they did a lot of great things for me, but that mentality was not a good approach and not a good way for a young person to start out. So I'd say probably that's the thing that sticks out in my mind. That I'm like, man, I thought about it. I was considering it. It seemed to be something good, but it was not a good piece of advice.
Okay. I'm not going to say I lied, but I threw in one extra one. Since for a very special episode 103, you have had a background with some very notable characters framed on the wall. Do any of them have names? Do they have any special reference in your life? Or do you just like having those pictures behind you?
So you're referring to the 2-legged or 4-legged people?
I'm referring to the 3 pictures we can actually see in your background for those that are watching.
So, yes and no. The larger picture is simply a souvenir that I really liked and wanted to put in a frame. So there was no sentimental value to that outside of it's just a cool picture. The one of the cow head looking down was a picture that I took of a friend's cow for a cover for a magazine that I was working for. So no necessarily sentimental value to me outside of the fact that that picture did win an award on that cover. And then the third one was another photo that I took for that same magazine that also won an award. So that has sentimental value just because it was a picture that I won an award with.
Okay. Very cool. So there are award-winning photographs behind you, and the first one is a sentimental. No, sentimental, not sentimental. Sentimental.
A sentimental. Say that 3 times fast.
Okay. So now everyone who's been watching 103 episodes knows that you in your spare time are an award-winning photographer.
I am, yes.
Yeah. So, the final question.
Okay.
Your best or most memorable coaching success story?
Oh. How do you want me to describe it?
In your words.
Well, I guess the thing that immediately comes to mind, a gentleman that I started coaching about 2 years ago, and the very first session that he came to, and I'm not going to be able to quote him directly because I can't remember what he said exactly, but it's along the lines of, I'm terrified, I don't like you, I don't want to be here, and let's go. Meaning, let's get started. He was terrified of talking to him about money in any capacity at all. And within about 6 months, he had not only overcome that fear, but he was now willing to have his spouse on the call with us, which was a monumental move for him, to have her presence and her involved in the coaching. And over the past 2 years, the transformation that they have both experienced, I cannot describe other than life-changing. They are not the same people. He is not the same person that started working with me in April of 2022. It's sometime last 2 years. Not only were they able to achieve significant financial turnaround in terms of debt reduction and savings, but their overall mentality and mindset and belief was universally different than how it started. And the best way that I can explain it is this gentleman went from being completely terrified of talking about money in any capacity to leading the financial conversations he had with his spouse. Just a 180-degree turnaround. And if you were to talk to him about the difference he experienced, he would say, I don't even recognize who I was whenever I started working with you. So that has definitely been probably the funnest, coolest experience I've had with a client, and seeing those results were just inspiring, to say the very least.
Fantastic. Well, you've made it through 8 questions on the hot seat, give or take 1 or 2. We learned a whole lot about you. We've got 100 more episodes to go.
At least.
At least. We'll learn a whole lot more.
Yes. It has been fun. It's always fun to just, talk about the important things in life and money. And I think one of the things that, you and I both enjoy most about the show is the honesty and the authenticity that we get to bring to these conversations. And I think that, going forward into next year, we want to bring even more value, even more education. There's a lot of people out there, Bob, that that need to be inspired, need to be motivated, need to be encouraged, need to be given the opportunity to change their life. And I think you and I have both experienced those opportunities, and it's our mission and our goal, at least it is for me, to provide that to as many people as possible. And that's what my ultimate goal for the show is to provide that opportunity to as many people as possible, whether it's through listening to our conversations or, more importantly, working with one of us. That's what we're here for, and that's our mission, is to empower and inspire and help people accomplish the dream that they didn't think was possible.
So you're saying we're going to move into a call-in type atmosphere and have people ask us questions on the spot and see how well we can do with helping them out of where they currently are. And
I don't know if we'll take call-ins, but we'll definitely be here if you want to send us a question. I think, for me, this is about sharing the insight that we know people need to hear.
Yeah.
And my goal ultimately is to provide an outlet to where you feel like we can help you, and to where we have the opportunity to work with you one-on-one, because we can only cover so much in these conversations. We can only provide so much intel and inspiration. The real experience comes whenever you sit across from us in a coaching session, and we can talk about you and your life and your money, and help transformation take in your world. That's what my ultimate goal is.
Yep. And every situation is different. Everybody starts at a different spot. Nobody is too far gone. They might just have to dig a little bit harder or reach a little bit further, but it is possible. And
one of the new sayings that I like to mention is we give ourselves way too much we give ourselves way too much grace and not near enough credit for what we can accomplish in a year's time.
Is that on all the pencils you give out?
What's that?
Is that on all the pencils you give out?
I need to do that. I need to have some pencils and some
swag.
Yeah, definitely. Call in. We might give you some. All right, Bob. It's been fun. It's been entertaining. Any final words that you have as the quote unquote leading host tonight?
Yeah, I still don't know what I can put in as filling in those blanks from where we started, but it has definitely been a great conversation and learning more about you after working with you for a number of years. And, that award-winning photograph that I still recall in the hallway that has the weed sticking up in the middle of the cornfield that he hoped nobody ever saw. But, for those of us that have an auditing background and can see stuff like that, they could see the weed through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
He appreciates that so much. So
you bet.
And now Austin is thinking blank, 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 blank. So
I got come up with new adjectives to describe you in the next season.
Okay. Don't draw any blanks.
Definitely. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. Hope that you were encouraged, empowered, inspired, motivated, challenged, and above all else, had a good time. That's what we're here, is to have a good time. So we will catch you again next time on The Heart of Money. Hey, folks, did you find today's episode valuable? If so, I would truly appreciate it if you left a 5-star review and shared the episode with a friend. My goal is to help as many couples as possible in their journey to gaining complete control of their money. Also, I have a free gift that I want to share with you for taking the time to listen to today's show. I have a brand new video training that outlines 5 steps for making a budget that will give you true financial freedom. In this training, I share how you can create a budget in a matter of minutes and make it easy to implement. Who doesn't want that, right? You'll learn what categories you need to cover all the bases each month and how to protect yourself against financial stress. You can access your free gift at freedommoneycoach.com/budget guide. That's freedommoneycoach.com/budget guide.